Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members. Marshall Pimentel with the League of Arizona Cities and Towns in respectful opposition to the striker on Senate Bill 1278. We did have several cities express concerns about their participation in federal programs like Energy Star and Water Sense. These are programs that help us use less energy and less water, obviously extremely important in a state like Arizona who's been in a long-term water crisis. These programs also open us up to eligibility for further federal funding to buttress our efforts in water conservation and energy efficiency. And using those products often helps us decrease emissions, which helps us come into compliance with federal air quality standards as well. Moreover, some cities also have home repair programs that utilize these energy efficient products and require that those be used because they are specifically for low-income households, and it will help them save on utilities in the long run. So those are our concerns, and we'd like to continue to be able to participate in those programs in partnership with the federal government.
Okay. Thank you. Representative Grass. Representative Grass.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Pimentel, how does this bill stop cities and towns from providing voluntary appliance repair programs?
Because some of that is actually required that they use it, so it says we can't have anything that has the effect of not using those utilities that are connected to a utility service provider.
Mr. Chairman?
Representative Grass.
Mr. Pimentel, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about prohibiting cities and towns from restricting their residents from using appliances. It doesn't say anything about prohibiting cities and towns from offering voluntary programs where a resident could decide, yeah, I want a more energy efficient stove or refrigerator. If the city's going to help pay for my energy efficient upgrade, if I don't want to do that, then I don't get to participate in the energy efficiency program. What am I missing here? This is just saying you can't force residents to abide by government regulation over appliances, doesn't it?
Mr. Chair, Representative Grass, we saw this as a requirement to participate in that program, so I suppose if you're saying that that program is voluntary from the outset, then it would take care of that type of thing, but it would still impact our ability to implement water sense standards in our codes and ordinances.
Thank you. Mr. Pimentel, I have a quick question. Did I say that correctly, Pimentel?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So in your conversations with the cities, the cities and towns that you said demonstrated hesitation or concern about this bill, did they say that they were in support of banning appliances that use gas, natural gas?
Mr. Chair, I don't think anybody talked about outright banning anything. They just, some of them have implemented those standards that they have to abide by for new home development. So I don't think anyone wants to ban them. They just want to ensure that they're using.
So they have implemented programs for new homes that have to be only or not use gas?
No, for the water sense is what I was, Mr. Chair, I apologize. For the water sense program, that is one of those things where some cities have adopted that. And those products and services utilize 20% less water than the average product.
Right. But none of the cities have stated that they have intent, because you said they were concerned about this bill, which prevents them from banning the use of these appliances that use gas. You're telling me that, because I want to know what their concern is, if this is specifically to ban or to prevent them from banning gas appliances.
And Mr. Chair, we believe that this bill would prevent them from implementing some of those standards. So I suppose if you're saying that they want to ban, I don't think anybody's saying that they necessarily want to ban that outright, but their position is that they want to be able to require that those appliances can be energy efficient or water efficient. So that may have the effect of banning certain appliances or products that are not energy efficient or water efficient.
Okay, so then it is their intent to moving forward to require appliances that do not use gas.
Mr. Chair, I wouldn't say that on behalf of all cities, but there are certainly some cities that would prioritize that, yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Members, any further questions for Mr. Pimentel at this time? Thank you, Mr. Pimentel.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't, we have if necessaries at this point. Raise your hand if you find it necessary. Okay. Sir, why don't you come on up and tell us your name for the record, please?
Hello, Mr. Chairman. My name is Richard Sigler. I live in Phoenix, and I am just here as an activist or representing myself. I am requesting that you vote no on this bill. I do understand, I'll just explain that. I do understand why people don't like codes and regulations and that kind of thing. I understand it. But sometimes we need those things. And the thing that has been mentioned a couple of times already is that the idea that we are running out of water, and there may be necessary requiring efficiency, water efficiency, and sprinklers, and things like that. You know, I think the city needs to be able to require people to save, to impose efficiency on water sprinklers and things like that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thank you, sir, for being here and testifying. Members, any questions at this time? No? Thank you.
Okay.
All right, the only other person I see, if necessary, is
Suzanne Wright,
Suzanne Wright. Do you find it necessary, Suzanne?
in favor of.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Members, first of all, I'll say this briefly. We've heard testimony here today, and the reason I did agree to sponsor the Strike Everything amendment is I think most of the testimony was pretty self-explanatory. I've in my memory, I have when I had to change my water heater, and I'm not the only one. There's various families that I know have had to do so, and I think we're looking at a minimum or anywhere from $1,000 to $1,400 just to change your gas water heater, because it really is not easy to it's not easy to have cold water only. And I'll tell you that I do know the places where there is cold water. In Central America, I've had to shower with really cold water. I'm not trying to make light of this, but I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that we've had to go in my home for 2-3 weeks without a water heater, a gas water heater, because we had to save up so that we can buy gas water heaters to have warm water. Not to mention numerous other appliances that require gas. And when I went to have different estimates, the electric ones were so far more expensive. The options are just astronomically more expensive. And so for families that are in whatever part of the city you want to say, or for whatever income level, to say that we're going to start preventing them from moving forward, we're pricing people out of the market. We're literally telling them, if you can't afford it, then just take a cold shower. And to me, I can't do that. And so I do see that we do see that there's a difference in opinion as we move forward with certain appliances. And I think that protecting the ability for citizens to have this, to have such a simple use at a price they can afford it's important for us. So I just wanted to say that just because it's at home and it explains a little bit of what this bill does for the general audience as well. So that said, the motion before you, members, is that the 3-page Strike Everything amendment dated March 23rd, 2023 at 8:25 a.m. in my name be adopted. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed vote nay.
Nay.
Appears the ayes have it, do have it, so ordered. All right. Any further discussion at this time, members, before I ask the Vice Chair to make the motion as amended? Seeing none, Madam Vice Chair, the motion as amended, please.
Mr. Chair, I move that Senate Bill 1278 as amended be returned with a due pass recommendation.
Thank you, members. You've heard the motion. Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bliss?
Aye.
Representative Contreras?
May I explain my vote?
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This, again, is an overly broad bill. It's not, doesn't say it's restricted to gas stoves. It says it's every appliance. That could be our water-saving devices that we're getting in our houses now to save water during this, our water crisis. It's not going to limit propane for your barbecue grill, because I know I go and get it from someplace else. I don't have it. In my neighborhood, we don't have gas, and that's fine with me, because my grandma always worried me when she used gas at her house. So, but this is just another attempt at preemption, and I'm going to vote no.
Representative Gress?
Mr. Chairman. may I
Please
explain my
proceed.
vote? Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for bringing this legislation to our committee. I find it fascinating that opponents of this measure have clearly articulated what I see as a troubling trend across this country, where cities, towns, and states are using health and safety concerns as a facade for implementing a radical Green New Deal agenda. And I don't believe my constituents appreciate that, especially being forced into by government fiat through the regulatory process to conform with the climate objectives of activist city councils. Absolutely no place for that here in the state of Arizona, and with that I vote aye.
Representative Hernandez?
No.
Representative Mathis?
Nay.
Representative Pingerelli?
Aye.
Representative Shaw?
No.
Vice Chairman Parker?
Yes, aye.
Chairman Montenegro?
Aye. All right, members, by your votes of 5 ayes, 4 nays, 0 voting present, and 0 absent, you have given a due pass recommendation to Senate Bill 1278 as amended.